Hey, Adam here again.
Bryan.
Today we are going to do another experiment, if you will. Bryan, you want to explain it?
I will. So we have two different glasses, two different beers. Not exactly the same style, but similar in style. Similar enough that we thought it'd be good to go ahead and try and see if we can figure out which is which. Adam's going to go first. Do you want to explain one of the beers, and I'll explain the other?
Sure. One of the beers is Westbrook Mexican Cake, the 2015 vintage. It is a 10.5% alcohol by volume beer with about, depending on which site you look at, 50 to 60 IBUs. The beer is an imperial stout that's barrel aged. The brewery says that it's flavored with cocoa nibs, vanilla beans, cinnamon sticks, and habanero peppers.
So the other one is a Country Boy, which is Lexington, Kentucky, a local brewery. So a lot of you guys might not be able to get it. Obviously, we'd be glad to trade with you, by the way, if you're interested. But this is also a very good beer, not quite as highly sought after, though, as Mexican Cake, but it's called Barreled Jalapeno Smoked Porter. Obviously, they use jalapenos instead of habaneros. It clocks in at a 6.8%. And it's got a sweet honey malt as well as chocolate malt, so it's a nice sweet chocolatey beer. We'll see if Adam can pick which is which. I don't think he'll have a problem picking it, because I think the difference between habaneros and jalapenos is going to be pretty easy for him to tell, but let's see.
Yeah, and I will tell you, I guess it's this one I'm smelling the whoa jalapeno. So I'm guessing even just from back here that this one has a smoked jalapeno smell. But we'll start, and before we start, for your all's benefit, we label these A and B. That way, hopefully you can see these, and when we're referring to beers, that way we're not saying this one, this one.
Move that out of the way so the nose doesn't change your...
Yeah, that's a good call. That's a good call. So we'll start with A here. It is basically a black, real dark brown, black, opaque beer. Can't see through it at all. I don't know if there's any head when you pour it, but it's all dissipated if there was any. Smell? Aroma? So I do get smoked. The first thing I smell is like a smoked malts. And I get a hint. It's a very subtle hint of a peppery, spicy aroma as well. But it's balanced. It's not overwhelming. They meld real well. The smoked maltiness and the peppery aroma. Should I smell that one first, or go ahead and taste?
I say go ahead and taste and finish that one out.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh my gosh. So I taste sweetness. First thing I get was sweetness, the smoked smokiness, cocoa, chocolate, dark chocolate. Very good. And then once it hit the back of my tongue, the spiciness from the peppers. So again, first thing that hit me was sweetness, sweet chocolate, smokiness, cocoa. And then just a smooth, nice peppery finish to it.
What do you think? What would you rate it?
That's good. And body, it's nice medium body. I mean, it's like a light syrup. It just coats the tongue perfectly. I mean, this is really good beer. I would give it 4.5. 4.5. Really good. I really enjoy this one. 4.75. We'll go 4.75. Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's get this one out of the way so the nose doesn't change your opinion.
All right. So B. Oh yeah. So again, this wasn't subtle. Bryan didn't think it would be, and it's not. This is smoked jalapeno. You get, I mean, you know, when you go to a Mexican restaurant, you get those chili rellenos that have been grilled on the. Oh, that's what you're getting. I mean, that's overwhelming smoked jalapeno. It really masks everything else. Didn't go through this one, although you can't tell it here. It was a little lighter. B is a little lighter, but still dark brown. No head to this. Smoked jalapeno. All right, cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, boom. First thing you taste, it's smoked jalapenos. It's, again, imagine going to a Mexican restaurant and getting the grilled chili relleno. It's spicy, green chilies, and then after you get that spiciness, the chili flavor, then you're hit with a little more of the kind of the roasted malts in the finish of the drink. A little more bitter than the A was sweeter. B is got a little more bitterness to it, but it's good, not too bitter. It's also a well done beer. The more I drink, the more it's that jalapeno flavor is kind of dissipating. I guess my mouth's getting used to it. Still getting it there, but it's melting more. Get a little more of a bitterness, kind of a malt bitterness. Very good. As far as a rating for this one, I would give it less. Maybe a 4.25. Yeah, a 4.25 out of 5. Okay. And as far as which one's which, I don't think I'm going to be wrong on this. A was definitely the Mexican cake, and B was definitely the Country Boy smoked jalapeno porter.
Well, you got it right, and don't let the Country Boy glass fool you. I did put it in there, but I figured you'd think I'd mix it up, so I went ahead and just did with it.
Playing mind games with me.
Right, trying to play mind games with them. I did have another glass to choose from, but then it would have been A and C, so it's just better to go with A and B. Anyway, you're exactly right. It's weird how, even though they're spiced beers, and both of them have a lot of pepper notes to it, the jalapeno porter, man, that's just in your face peppers. But boy, in a good way. It's really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so my turn. Which one do you think I ought to do first?
Your call.
My call? I'm going to take this one first. I'll slide that one over so the nose doesn't change me. I already know which one this is. So this one, as you can see, a little bit of a head, a little brown, very light head. It's probably stuck around a little bit, very dark. So that's probably the stout, but the aroma, man, that just smells of chocolate malt. You get a hint of spice, just a very hint. And you can tell it's very well blended. Just a hint. I don't really smell any hoppiness. All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh my goodness, that's good. So the first thing I get on this one is I get a spice flavor. I know, assuming I'm right, and this is the same one that you tried first, the first thing I get is spice, so maybe I've got them mixed up. But either way, on this one, the first thing I get is spice, and then I'm starting to get a little bit in the background of chocolate malt.
When you say spice, do you mean heat, peppery spice, or are you talking about, okay.
Yeah, I'm getting peppery spice on this one. Not like cooking spices.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, that's phenomenal though. So I get on the second drink a lot more chocolate malt. The peppery spice is still there, but it's not quite as in your face as it was on the first drink. Maybe I should have had a starter to begin with, but it's still very good. I like the flavor of this one. Rating them blind, not knowing which one I'm rating, I have to have another drink, then I'll tell you. That's just really well blended. Being able to taste the peppery spice and the chocolate malt, and it's got a little bit of sweetness to it. Not quite as sweet as I expected if it's the one I'm thinking of. But I would have to give it I'd give it a 4.5. I really like this beer. This is really well blended. The pepper, even though it's there and you can taste it, it's not so strong that it overwhelms the flavor of the beer. You still taste the chocolate malt, and I like that. I think that's very good. Barrel aged. This one, if this was aged longer in your cellar, it might actually get a little bit of the spice, would dissipate some, and so the chocolate malt would accentuate a little bit more. So it'd be a different beer in a year, but still very good, very drinkable. All right, let's get that one out of the way. Whoa, no doubt in my mind which one that one is. But man, I'm surprised that the spice for you is on the back end of it as opposed to the front end for me. My tongue must be backwards, I guess. I don't know. All right, so this one, it is a little bit lighter. You can tell. I don't think you can see through it on camera, but the head, it's got a little bit of a light brown white head to it. It stuck around a little bit longer than that one did, and that's okay for stouts. Stouts typically have a little bit less carbonation to it and not as much of a head, unless you're pouring nitro. But let's see, nothing really else to comment on color. But the aroma, I mean, it is just very, very strong jalapeno spice, kind of a smoked smell. I mean, you get that right off. Let me swirl it around a little bit and see if I can get more out of it. No real hop aroma to speak of. Don't really even smell the malt though. On that one I did smell a little bit of the chocolate malt, but not on this one. All right, cheers.
Cheers.
Wow, that's good. So on the front end, I don't really get any of the malt at all. I do get the jalapeno, the spiced jalapeno, fairly strong. I'd call it a moderate spice to it. I mean, not real heat, doesn't burn your tongue, but I mean, you can definitely taste it on the front end. Back end, I'm not really getting much of the malt yet. In the second drink, you get a little bit more of the malt. As you might imagine, this being a porter, that one, assuming I'm right, being Imperial Stout, this one, you really get some of the chocolate malt, but it's not nearly as strong, and you'd expect that from a porter, so that's normal. But that's good. That's very well done beer, very well blended. I do like that one too. I would give this one, I'd give it a 4. I bet with aging, if you age this one for a year, I bet it would climb up from there because the spice would dissipate some. And this is one that if you cellar, I bet it would end up being a 4 or 5 or even better after cellaring, because that's a phenomenal beer.
So which one's which, obviously?
So I'd go the smoked jalapeno porter and Mexican cake.
And of course you're right.
I like the Mexican cake better. I think it's better blended, fresh. Again, it's 2015. So it would be neat to put this up against a 2014, but I can't really do that because I already opened this one. So
we will say that we also have this is out of a growler.
It is out of a growler.
It's a tap. It's less than a week old. But we also have a bottle, and it does say on the bottle to not cellar. They recommend not cellaring the beer, so we're still deciding on whether we want to take their advice or not. But also, I want to ask you a question. So when I was drinking with you after I finished and you were drinking, I noticed we were calling it sweetness. Do you get the vanilla, the cinnamon vanilla out of it at all? Out of the Mexican cake, which is his B. Do you taste that spice, the cinnamon vanilla? Because we really haven't talked about that.
I think I get a hint of the vanilla. The cinnamon, I'm not quite sure. I think it's kind of hidden. Yeah,
and cinnamon, it's got a little heat to it in itself, which we can be calling habanero. But on the second time around, after I tasted them both, I think I did pick up some more of that, kind of like the fried ice cream. If you ever had that with you kind of get that a little bit of that.
I do, yeah.
The caramelized sugar, a little cinnamon on it. Just a delicious dessert beer. Again, I really loved it.
Or an anytime beer for that matter.
Absolutely.
But I think the names really say what they're going for. Smoked jalapeno porter versus Mexican cake, which I think they both live up to their names, but both very good beers. Yeah. And so if you're in the Kentucky area, this one is brewed once a year, I believe. And they sell it pretty well, obviously. And again, we'll trade for any Mexican cake if someone wants to do the same thing.
Yeah.
But the Mexican cake, you pretty much have to either trade for it, buy it on some site that we shouldn't mention, or go down and get it when they release it.
Agreed.
All right. Any other closing thoughts on these?
I think that's everything I have. What about you?
No, I think that was pretty good. 2 great beers. Going to enjoy finishing these off tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
And just remember, as always, if you can't have the beer you love the beer you have. Thanks.